So the new album, which
Yes.
comes out June 25th.
22nd.
22nd. Okay, or you can buy it 3 days late.
Or you can buy it 3 days late on
Right.
June 22nd.
So what is the album like compared to We Love You? I mean, just for background, why don't you tell me how you guys formed, burying the lead again? But seriously, I think, for the two people who don't necessarily know who Semi-Precious Weapon
Oh, there's a lot more than 2 people who don't
Well,
know
give
who we
me
are.
a nice Cliff Notes version of, who
Yeah,
you
sure.
guys are.
We met in college.
Mhm.
So even though we're this crazy, filthy, glamorous rock and roll band, we're actually a bunch of music school geeks.
Okay.
And we've studied everything from, Bach to Stravinsky to
Right.
Coltrane to Paula Cole to
The Party.
Yeah. To Backstreet Boys to everything.
That's a shout out to that guy.
Exactly, the dead guy. And so we met in school, but we're just friends. We didn't start a band, and then we moved to New York, and we're horribly bored by New York City.
Mhm.
And we thought New York City was going to be, like Debbie Harry and Andy Warhol, but instead, no offense to these people,
Right,
but
right.
instead it was Sarah Jessica Parker and Donald Trump,
Right.
which, both of them make interesting hair choices, just like Debbie Harry and Andy Warhol,
True.
but not the interesting hair choices that I'm interested in.
Right.
So we were horribly bored by New York and kind of confused and upset. We said, well, fuck it. New York is taking themselves so seriously. We went to music school. We know that we're awesome musicians. Let's start a filthy party band
Right.
that's based on fun, not on pretension.
Mhm.
And let's do it. And it kind of started as like something that we maybe do a couple times.
Right.
But then we realized that we actually really loved making this music. And this kind of, like balls to the wall rock and roll is the music that inspired us as kids.
Right.
AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, so on and so forth, Nirvana.
Right.
For me, Hole, Lil Kim, the important
Yep.
musical figures.
I just saw Hole last week.
They're amazing, right? Courtney Love's amazing.
Courtney Love is Courtney Love.
Yes, and I love her.
It wasn't quite the train wreck I was hoping for.
Oh,
I love Courtney Love.
she's actually talented, and you
Well,
wanted her to
yeah,
puke.
Yeah.
But she actually sang her ass off instead of puke.
And she did 45-minute set though, which is kind of weak.
That is,
A little weak,
Yeah,
but it's still, something.
gotcha. Yeah, so we realized, and thought we'd just do it kind of just be a fun, ridiculous band for a little while. Ended up falling in love with ourselves.
Yeah.
And here we are many years later.
Yeah.
And lots of money spent and time lost and blood shed.
Mhm.
And now people kind of are sort of a little bit starting to know who we are, which is really exciting.
Well, I think, and this goes back to the new album, right?
Yes.
Coming out. I think it's really important that you guys have a new album coming out because wasn't there ever a time where you're like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore?
Oh, there were I think, lots of people, like I've said a couple times, like, we owe everything to Lady Gaga.
Right.
Because we're her favorite band in the whole world. She opened for us. She has this tour with her. She helped us get a record deal.
Is that the connection? She opened up for
She
you
opened
guys,
for
right?
us many a times.
Okay.
But we owe lots to Lady Gaga, but I think what we owe the most to is the fact that we did not give up.
Right.
And, Columbia wanted to sign us many times, and it fell through. Warner Brothers wanted to sign us, but they were terrified of me.
Right.
Even though they loved us, they were scared of, how can a man in heels sell in 2010?
Right.
And so, but so we did not give up, and we played probably over 500 shows in cities that most people have never even heard of,
Right.
like Waterloo, Iowa, and Mankato, Minnesota.
I'm sorry.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
But we actually did it all, and we did not give up,
Right.
and now we're on the biggest tour in the world.
Talk to me about this tour, because
Yes.
Lady Gaga is the second coming of Madonna, and I think probably Madonna would even say that. So I'm just
Yes.
curious, how does it feel to be on this, from headlining, in Bumblefuck, wherever the hell you said,
Yeah.
to opening for the biggest store in the world?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the contrast between the shows.
It's amazing. Our show is still pretty much the same. Luckily, Gaga loves our show as it is.
Mhm.
And so for her to be bold enough and cool enough to have a real rock band open for her, I think is just another testament to how cool she is.
Right.
We don't have dancers, we don't have backing tracks. It's an actual rock band. Even bands that are playing on rock radio nowadays, they're still performing live with like 25 backing tracks and
Right.
a bunch of bullshit. And our show is actually just the four of us. And for us, we perform exactly the same. Whether there's 200 people or 20,000, we're genuinely putting on the same show.
Right.
Luckily, when we perform to 20,000, there's like the big screens, so
Right.
my face is massive, and
Right.
people in the back row can see us.
Right.
And we perform with 12-foot champagne bottles on stage.
Nice.
But besides that, we're just being just the ridiculous four people that we are.
Now, has any of this gone to your head at all? Are you like a total diva and the other band members are like, this guy is an asshole? Or
No, I'm still everyone's mom.
Yeah.
There's no way it could go to my head, because luckily, when you're touring with the biggest star in the world, no matter how many people love our band, we're still not her.
And I'm saying, like, headlining versus opening.
Yes.
The mindset's got to be totally different, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, opening for Lady Gaga, you really have to fight to win over the crowd, whereas, your own show, you already have your legion of fans coming.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, well, there's two things. One, we're really lucky that she has talked about us enough in the press that her diehard fans do know who we are.
Right.
So that does help. And then two, we love opening.
Mhm.
It's like just a different art form.
Right.
And we especially love opening for her because not only is she our friend, but she is the coolest pop star in the world.
Right.
So I'm like, between every song, I talk about her. 2 different times in our 30-minute set, I get the whole audience chanting Lady Gaga's name over and over.
Right.
And it's not because I'm trying to kiss anybody's ass, it's because
Right.
it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
And all these kids are obsessed with her. So to get them to start screaming her name is a really fun way to spend a night.
I gotta tell you, because I already called her the second coming of Madonna, so the music industry, right, is always throwing labels at people.
Yeah.
I see your album cover,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, glam rock band.
Right.
Without even listening. I think that's the biggest surprise for me when I saw your show, is it's actually like pure rock. Old
Thank
school
you.
rock.
Thank you. Thank
In
you.
high heels.
Yes.
Old school rock in high heels.
I like this. This is a much
Put
better
that on
label.
a button, you see that?
And there's 4 of us, and only one of us wears high heels, which also really confuses people.
So what's the other guys' deals? What's their
Well,
vibe?
they look ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they don't. They aren't. They're dudes.
Do they
They're
wear like
womanizing
jock
dudes.
straps over the clothes?
No.
I'm guessing. No?
But they should.
Someone should. You have the power to do that.
I do.
You
I
do. The
I
jock
do.
strap over the clothes.
Yeah, well,
It's just something,
our friend Breedlove, who's also an amazing performer, who's
Yeah.
opened for us a couple times, he's starting to wear like cups,
Okay.
which involves a jock strap. He's actually doing it over his clothes, so I have to let him have
Alright,
that.
So we'll give them some credit.
We'll give, we'll let him. But yeah, our drummer Dan, he does wear like a kilt over his pants.
Okay.
But it's in a very masculine way. I don't know how, but it is. So everyone looks crazy, and we all are really, really into. We feel like every legendary band, they had a look.
Right.
Even Nirvana, their look was the anti-look, but that was
Right.
still such an extreme look.
Right.
And so we have no shame in the fact that yes, we love music and we went to music school, but we still want to look cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.